Well, we're day one of World's Swiss stage. I'm joined right now by Humanoid. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Prize Picks. Unfortunately, after a loss just now, but I do want to ask a little bit because that series seemed, or that match seemed incredibly close for the vast majority of it. What do you attribute the fact that you were able to get the match so neck and neck throughout the whole thing?
I think we had a better team comp in the late game for sure, and they didn't really manage to get that far ahead in early. So then it was kind of even, and it just came down to execution in team fights, which we had worse, I guess.
Yeah. What do you make of the matchup against Showmaker? Because I think that was the big thing that the broadcast was like, oh, here we go, it's these two people clashing. So what was it like for you playing against him?
I think he is the second best player I've ever played against, other than Chovy, for sure. I always thought that he was really insane, and I still think so. I think he's just really good, yeah.
Yeah. Is it, whenever you're laning against a player that's good, like him or Chovy, how different does it feel to play against them versus your average LEC mid laner?
I think it's very different. Yeah, I can't really afford to make any mistakes or I get punished. And in LEC you can probably just play with your eyes closed sometimes and lane. Yeah, so you can pick a losing matchup and you're gonna be fine probably, but here it's harder.
How do you prepare for a matchup like that, given the fact that a lot of the time you do get to play with your eyes closed?
Yeah, well, first thing is that I think every team at this world so far has a really different meta read. Every single team is just first picking completely different champs. So we just try to make sure that we know what we want to play, and we basically played what we prepared the entire week. And I think it's pretty good. So yeah, just the draft is the most important now.
I'm glad you brought that up because right before this I interviewed Koma and Chovy, and I've been trying to ask about whether or not we'll see like two different metas for them, right? Because the boot camps were sort of the Western teams over here and the Eastern teams in their own world. Both of them seem to be like, well, it's Worlds, everything gets crazy in the beginning. Do you feel separate differently? You said every team has its own meta, so I thought perhaps we'd see two. It sounds like we have 16.
Yeah, the problem is that Asian teams didn't really come here until a few days ago, so no one could really see what they are playing. So there was basically a meta of NA and EU, and then a different meta of the Asian teams. So I'm sure it's gonna get kind of more same now that everyone can scream each other. But before, I did not expect a lot of the picks that the Asian teams were picking today.
Do you think they have the better read?
I think maybe some of them. I think all of them also have different reads from each other. Whereas I think Europe and NA teams have kind of the same feeling. Yeah. So I'm not sure. Okay,
so I guess we'll figure out which way things end up going. Now, what is? I guess it's been difficult for a lot of North American fans, maybe even Western fans, to kind of figure out where Fnatic stands as a team, because I think you guys have consistently been able to make it to these international events and be incredibly strong, but also some people have been like, sometimes they do crazy stuff and things go sideways. So I guess from your estimation, where do you think Fnatic stands in terms of strength compared to a lot of the other teams that we're seeing here at Worlds so far?
For sure there's a lot of Asian teams that are better than us, right? I think Damwon should be one of the weaker ones, but still they won against us. So I'm gonna say that we are kind of similar level as all the Western teams, in my opinion. So yeah, and then there's just 6 teams in Asia that are above us all. Okay,
so you think there's a pretty big jump once you get to the top 3 on either side?
Pretty big jump between the top 3 and the rest, for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's a small jump between the other Asian teams and us, I guess.
How strange is it to play Worlds in the LEC studio? Because it must be kind of crazy where you get to play this normally, but then you come here and it's a completely different world.
Yeah, it feels kind of weird. I'm walking around and I see Faker in the corridor, in a place where I've been playing for many years, and it's kind of weird. It feels good to play, just because I'm used to it, but yeah, the studio is not that big for a World's group stage, let's be honest.
Yes.
So that's kind of disappointing, but it's fine.
Yeah. No, I totally feel you on that. But do you feel like you have a home field advantage at all for playing here? Do you feel like Like, do you think that perhaps you're playing better here than you would if, for instance, you were in the LCS arena or the LCK arena?
Yeah, I think it's just, yeah, you're used to it, so I think we just play a bit better.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for the interview. Is there anything you want to say to anybody out there?
Just thanks for watching, and we'll do better next time.
Yeah. Thank you for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. We are at Worlds. That's right. Behind me is the stage where the players play, and you can play Prize Picks, my sponsor. They sent me all the way to Worlds. I just got to promote them. I got to shout them out because it's so cool that they were able to get Drew and I over here to Berlin so that we can make content for you. If you would like to play Prize Picks and you think you can do so responsibly, please go check that link in the description below. It's a really fun way to engage with the Worlds matches, and you can play it with friends. You can do whatever you want to there, but signing up with that link and using code Travis is a great way to support my content.